Tonight's shows are made possible by these sponsors. Frickson Family Farms. Located up in Minnesota, get no better small town feel than Frickson Family Farms. Check out Mom's Place Gluten Free because your family's health matters. Over 100 gluten-free items. Check out the link for the promo code. And lastly, Competition Jerk Charcoal. Are you a member of Team Jerk? If not, you need to be. Go check them out.
What's up, everybody? It is time for the weekend kickoff party. We're not live on this one. This is a pre-recording, but man, Doobie and I are excited. We have with us the hottest couple on Instagram. I don't care what anybody says. The stuff they're doing is next level. Straight out of LA, California, just outside of it. Twist and Bitters, aka Sam and Stacy. How are we doing?
Good. How are you guys?
Hashtag power couple. Hey, look at you guys. Love it. So tell us about, before we get started on two amazing bourbon cocktails that you have picked out for us, we're not going to let that slip just yet because we don't know which one you're going to tell us to do first, and I'm excited. But tell us about what you're doing and just, how it's been going in the last year and a half. What you guys have been doing is a really popular new trendy thing with everything that's been going on, obviously, in the last 18 months.
Yeah, so I'll give you a little backstory on us. So we both have worked in restaurants, service industry, pretty much since we've been allowed to work.
Yeah, since like I was 15.
Yeah. And like a lot of people, we were out of a job, in 2020, just out of nowhere.
And the restaurants closed, and we had, everybody was sent home. So.
Yeah. Which neither of us had been unemployed before, so there's like freak out, and it ended up being really kind of a blessing in disguise. We've been talking about doing our own thing for a while, and we just had all this time on our hands all of a sudden to like really figure it out. And out of that came our company, Twist and Bitters, and pretty much anything imbibe related. So most of our business is doing mobile bartending at events around Southern California. Weddings and birthdays is the most requested, but bar mitzvahs, funerals, like anything you can think of.
Open houses.
Yeah, we just did an open house for a realtor up here in Bel Air. But then we just started recently getting into stuff like this, like cocktail classes. We've done a lot of them in person. This will actually be like our first virtual one. We've never messed around with virtual classes. And then we have a ton of experience, so now we're trying to get into consulting. We're growing our Instagram and social media audience. So just being in that imbibe drink world and just doing all we can.
Doobie, did you hear that? We're the guinea pigs, man. That sounds about right.
Yeah. We had a lot of people requested.
We might be the last. We might be first and last, Doobie.
Yeah, we'll see.
Who wins?
We had a ton of people request it during the shutdowns out here, and I was always like, I don't know, the virtual thing's weird. I don't know. I'm just going to keep doing the in-person stuff. But you guys reached out. It seemed like a fun thing to do, being on your show and everything. So we're trying it out.
Well, we're
awesome.
honored.
Thanks for giving us a go.
Doobie's been excited for this. Doobie, I know you got a couple things, at least something you'd like to ask him here before they picked our first poison of the night.
What's your favorite drink of all time to make? Like when you go to a party, like if you're going to a party and you guys are like bringing your favorite specialty drink, what are you guys bringing?
Sam, you better let Stacy go first. Ladies first. You better not let her go.
I'm a huge Vesper Negroni girl. I love to do twists on them, and I love the classic version. And yeah, those two.
You want to tell them what a Vesper? I don't know if everyone knows what a Vesper is.
Okay, so a Vesper is like the James Bond, like you do vodka, gin, and a little bit of Lillet. Either Lillet.
It's a type of. It's like a special vermouth. It's the original James Bond martini. If you read the first Casino Royale James Bond book, that's like it's the Vesper martini.
Shaken, not stirred. Yeah.
You're a movie guy. Yeah, you're a movie guy.
Negroni, that's just a classic. I'm a gin girl. I used to be a really big whiskey girl, so the old fashioned was my go-to for a very long time. But recently, I've gotten really into gin. So The girl needs a little bitter action with gin and a little sweet vermouth. It's white tea.
Yeah. I feel like gin's one of those things that grows on you. The more you drink it, the more you can enjoy it.
I hated gin. Hated it a year ago. And then he made me like a Vesper one time, and I'm like, this is kind of delicious.
I made her a gin martini, and she's like, this is really good. I'm like, yes, it is.
What's your favorite gin to use when you're doing the gin martini? Do you go with like a London Dry, or you go with like a rain pour?
I mean, we're kind of suckers for Bombay Sapphire, I think. But,
okay.
But if you're talking about floral ones, there's one called Bar Hill that's fantastic. They're out of Vermont, and they have this huge bee farm, and they actually distill it through the honeycomb. So it has these like beautiful little like honey notes to it that is very unique,
really good.
And you don't really get it anymore.
That's awesome. That sounds great.
And they do a ton of work with like saving the bees, which I'm all about. So
yeah, it's like a honey juniper gin. It's like it's fantastic.
See, I've been getting this stuff out of Wilmington. It's a barrel aged gin, so it's got like a little oak note to it.
That's coming up.
This changed my whole life on the world of gin, because now I can sit this on ice and just drink it straight. It's amazing. So well, it's funny. That's funny. So what's yours, Sam?
Man, it depends. It depends on my mood and like the time of day. I mean, I'm
the time of the year.
Summers, I will be crushing gin and tonics. Sometimes I'm just in the mood for good, like classic old fashioned. I've been on like a big tequila kick recently, so I've been doing like old fashioned. Just
mezcal.
Mezcal, or like I like a good margarita with a little splash of mezcal in it. But man, I don't discriminate. It just really depends on what mood I'm in.
All right.
Okay, I like it.
Dude, what's your go-to? I don't think I've ever asked you.
Oh man, I think being in New Mexico, man, I feel like my go-to on a hot summer day is a really good strong margarita with some good homemade sour and a nice like salted rim. You know, that's like home where I'm at for sure.
No, it's funny you mentioned that barrel aged gin though. That kind of made you a gin believer. Like at events, all the time we try to get people to like taste the gin drinks, because there's so many people out here. I don't know how it is with you, like in your guys' area, but out here there are so many people scared of gin because back in college they maybe had like a shot of it and just didn't like you can't do gin. It's disgusting.
Yeah, if you're not used to it, it's one of those things that like turn your stomach.
But if you like put it in the right mixed drink, all those botanicals like elevate the drink, and we like make people try at events and they're like, oh, I didn't know like gin could taste like this. But like don't take shots of it.
Yeah. One of my favorite gin drinks is like a gin lemonade. Like a good lemonade with some gin. Like that's one of my favorites.
You gotta mix it.
Sour is fantastic. You do like a little bit of simple syrup. It's pretty much the same thing as a gin lemonade. It's just with like fresh lemon juice. So good.
I'm with you. I tell you, in the summertime, I think a nice fresh mojito.
Totally.
Yeah. Or a julep.
I mean, I'm talking. I remember
nice mint julep. That's always good.
We went to. We should do something for Kentucky Derby, by the way. Just throwing that out there.
That'll be good, yeah.
That'll be fun.
You probably have like 8 million bookings by then, so we'll be old news with all this virtualness we're opening you up to after this. But no, I'm with you. Like in the summertime, awesome mojito, minty, lemonade-y. It's like everything's summer. But in the wintertime, like if I'm sitting down an old fashioned, any variation of an old fashioned, sign me up. The crazier the old fashioned, the more I'm into it. So
yeah.
So with that being said, tonight's theme, as everyone sees, tonight's is brought to you by Cleveland Whiskey. Cleveland Whiskey, you can find them at clevelandwhiskey.com, see if they're available in your state, and if not, check out the states you're going on vacation to, get you a bottle, nice bottle of the Black Reserves, about 25 to 30 bucks, nice solid price point, delicious, same taste as a 10-year age. So that's what we're going to go with. So since they're kind of with us on the show, we decided to tackle bourbon. And I know you picked out not one, but 2 drinks, and we have a lot of ingredients here, so I know these are going to be absolutely phenomenal. So without further ado, Sam and Stacy, what is going to be our first delicious cocktail we're making tonight?
Now, we're talking about margaritas and citrus, so we're going to start off with, it's a whiskey sour with muddled strawberry in it. It's sounding really good right now. So
yes, I'm not gonna lie. I was hoping that was the one you went with first. We're not gonna say what the other one is yet, but Doobie, you excited for this?
I'm excited for this one, man.
Oh man, I love whiskey sours. I've recently discovered them and learned how to make a decent one myself. So I am jacked. So what's first?
So whiskey sour is a classic, and it's like a blank canvas. It's super easy to make variations on it. So instead, we're making a strawberry whiskey sour. So yeah, first things first. If you have a shaker, put the strawberries in there. I'm putting like 3 cut up strawberries in there. You can go 2. You can go 5 strawberries. However much strawberry flavor you want. I'm gonna play my muddler.
And you're going 3. I'm going 3.
Yep, I'm going 3 too.
I'm feeling. I want.
Let's keep it consistent.
And I know, for your audience watching, it probably looks like a lot of stuff on your kitchen counter there, but we tried to keep these variations fairly simple. Like it's totally doable at home. It's nothing too crazy.
Well,
it's nothing you can't find at Walmart real quick.
Yeah.
Well, and here's the funny part: all the stuff that we're having here that you have us use, like this, we're not buying it all for one night. Like there's enough. Like this thing of bitters will last me like 2 or 3 years. So like this is all stuff we rounded up for the show, but I'm feeling that you're going to teach us where we can make this for a long time going forward. With all the stuff we have here. So all right, we're muddling our strawberries in there. We're muddling them.
Yeah. So go ahead and grab your muddler. Just get that strawberry juice out of there.
We jumped ahead of you. Sorry, man. We like to smash stuff. We're dudes.
This takes me back, man. I used to be a banquet bartender. I used to do weddings and stuff. So this is like...
Yeah, just smash them to a pulp.
People are gonna be having like flashbacks. You know, light up like a cig or something like that here in a second. Like the little bartenders used to do, dude.
Let me know when you guys are done. We'll go to the next step.
I'm good.
I'm good.
All right. So let's do our lemon juice for next, not first.
Now, would you do half or a whole lemon?
So we're gonna do if you have a measuring device. I really like these little OXO cups. They go up to 2 ounces, but there's plenty of other measuring cups you can get. If you don't have a measuring device, I'd probably do a whole lemon. We're trying to get about 1 ounce of lemon juice, but it really depends on the lemon. Some lemons are super juicy, some are not.
Are we putting this in?
Got a real juicy one right here.
Sorry, what was your question?
I got a real juicy lemon over here.
Were we supposed to be
talking at the same time?
Are we putting this? Can we mix the juice right into the strawberries? Sorry about that.
Correct. Yes, that was going to be my next thing. So you got your ounce, give or take 1 ounce of lemon juice. Just add that in with your strawberries. And then next, we're going to grab our simple syrup. They sell this at most liquor stores pre-made. It's super easy to make. I don't know why you would ever buy it. If someone out there hasn't made it before, it's just equal parts water and sugar. Just bring it to a simmer till everything dissolves, let it cool, and there's your simple syrup. Very easy to make.
I even put mine in the mustard bottle.
Yep, I made mine and threw it in the sauce bottle too.
Hey!
Reusing that mustard. We're gonna do another ounce of this. And if anyone ever wants to make just a classic sour, a good rule of thumb, and this works like a margarita is a sour cocktail as well, a 2-1-1 ratio is always kind of a good rule of thumb. So like 2 ounces liquor, 1 ounce of your citrus, and 1 ounce of a sweetener. More or less, that'll always give you a pretty good drink if you don't know the measurements. And having said that, so we got our 1 ounce of simple, and then the good stuff. Let's grab 2 ounces of bourbon and throw it in there.
Just 2?
You know what? Go 3 or 4 if you're, I don't know. Are you having a bad day?
I'm having a good day.
It only get better.
So I better make it 5.
Our big thing, and we're kind of cocktail nerds. Like I'm measuring everything out. I know some people just free pour it. More
I
power
like
to
it
them.
because I need structure. I want to know how good of a difference this actually.
Yeah, to me, it's just about making a consistent drink every single time. That's why I like measuring it out. But I know some people out there just gonna be free pouring bourbon in there. That's totally cool. So next we're gonna grab our ice. So if you have here, let me show you real fast. My assistant Stacy's grabbing the ice. If you have like a 2-shaker setup like this, just throw the ice in one, have your liquid in the other.
I don't.
And then you can go ahead and combine that. And if you have a two-shaker setup like this at home, an important thing is always if you have a straight line here and just seal that, it's not gonna be spilling on you. And yeah, just give it a good shake.
I'm doing this way too much.
That's a good shake. I like that.
Isn't it like on Bar Rescue, you're supposed to maintain eye contact and smile?
You know, my biggest pet peeve when I go to bars is when the bartender's just kind of like half-ass shaking it. You got to put some love into it. I'm a big
don't want half-assers here.
I feel like especially when you have muddled ingredients in there, like shaking it just kind of completes it a little better, you know?
Right. So next, you can just pour this into a glass with the ice. You will get some of that strawberry pulp. Some people like that. Some people not as much. I like straining it out personally. So if anyone at home has, these are called Hawthorne strainers. These are super easy to get. Or you can even use, if you got like a mesh strainer in your kitchen, that works. You can get some of that pulp out. But if we just, put our strainer on and then just strain some of that strawberry out. But again, totally up to who's drinking it. I know some people like the pulpiness. I made a mess. All right, and then we got to make it look pretty, right? So there's a couple things we're gonna do to this twist here. So a really famous variation to a whiskey sour is what's called a New York sour, and it's just your regular whiskey sour, no strawberry, but you give it a little red wine float over the top. So we got a strawberry whiskey sour. We're also gonna add a little red wine float over it. So doing like 2 different variations in one, basically. If you want to make it look really pretty and get like a separation between the drink and the wine, I'm using a bar spoon here, but you can use any old kitchen spoon, whatever you have laying around.
I forgot a spoon. I'll be right back.
That's all good. It's not the end of the world either. We'll wait for him.
Oh, this is gonna be amazing. Oh,
That tastes really good.
I guess he's killing me. He had to get that spoon. I'm just staring at it.
Making you wait for it.
Oh no, this is worse. Doobie, you're killing me, man. I just gotta keep looking at this thing.
So you can pour it straight from the bottle. I like, again, measuring out anywhere from ½ an ounce to an ounce, and it'll make it kind of easier to pour in there as well. But so once you do have your wine, if you take the back of your spoon here and just kind of drizzle it over there slowly, you'll get this really nice separation between your drink and the wine float. I'll show you in a second. Just look something like that if you did it right. You get that nice separation there.
I don't know if I did enough in mine, but I
Oh,
got
you can do more
separation.
too, you know. I like a little wine flavor. Some people put a bunch of wine in it, like a full ounce and a half.
It's just that I have like the front half, but not the back half here.
It's gonna be easier too if you have like a rocks glass, and the ice stops it too, making that layer. And then I like to garnish my drinks. Like, you know, we eat with our eyes first. I like to make my drinks a little pretty. So easy way to do it. If you have some extra strawberries lying around, just cut the top off and then make a little incision here, and you can just stick that right on your rim here. Give it a little simple garnish.
Put it on the rim.
Yeah, so just you can stick it on the rim just like that, and you got a strawberry whiskey New York sour. I guess I don't know. We can give it a name if you guys got one.
You guys got a good name already.
Yeah. The Bougie Dude Special.
Oh, I like that. That's great.
Yeah.
Well, cheers, guys. Let's see how it tastes.
Cheers.
I put mine in a nice little martini glass.
You're classing up the joint.
Oh man, that's nice.
Oh my God.
That's real nice. I just spilled half of mine.
It just keeps going in your mouth.
That first sip, you might get a little bit too much wine, but as the wine kind of mixes around, it's just making a nice flavor.
All right, since this is Instagram, we're going to take a photo, and you guys are going to be in the background here, so in a way, I'm going to need you guys to wave.
Oh, man.
Oh, man, hang on, I got it lighting away. Everyone smile.
Woo!
Oh, man.
That's cool. Yeah, hey, we got Instagram. It's official.
Tonight's shows are made possible by these sponsors. Frickson Family Farms. Located up in Minnesota, get no better small town feel than Frickson Family Farms. Check out Mom's Place Gluten Free because your family's health matters. Over 100 gluten-free items. Check out the link for the promo code. And lastly, Competition Jerk Charcoal. Are you a member of Team Jerk? If not, you need to be. Go check them out.
All right. So you guys ready for the next one? You want to keep sipping on the strawberry?
Doobie, are you ready?
Yeah, let me go rinse this shaker real quick.
All right.
Get more ice.
And actually, you actually won't need a shaker for this next one. You just need a glass. We're going to be doing a little twist on an old fashioned.
Ooh, old fashioned.
That'll work.
And it is, I don't know why, but it is sacrilegious to make an old fashioned in a shaker. Like back when I used to work in bars in LA, like you make an old fashioned in a shaker, like you get yelled at. It is like tradition to build it in the glass. No one's been ever able to tell me why, but that's the way it is.
There's a secret, folks, to ordering an old fashioned and making sure it's good. You ask the bartender, how are your old fashions? If they hesitate at all, don't get it. But if they sit there and say, mine are killer, I use these bitters, get that old fashioned. Yeah, get that old fashioned.
If
You're supposed to break up
the working at a bar, right? Yeah, if they know they make a good old fashioned, they will be excited about it. If your bartender's putting soda water, Sprite into your old fashioned, run. It should be. It's one of these drinks. It's very simple, and because it only has like 3 ingredients, it's so easy to mess up. Like the ratios do pretty, like they matter a lot on this drink. But
you had a question, Doobie? What was it?
Don't you have to like muddle your sugar cubes with like your orange juice or something like that in the glass?
You can. So there's a lot of different ways to make old fashioned. I know traditionally you're supposed to use the sugar cube, put the bitters on it, and then muddle it and let the bitters dissolve the sugar. We personally like to use just the simple syrup. Old fashions is one of the oldest cocktails in the world, and so this drink was around before ice was readily available. So you would have had room temperature bourbon, room temperature water, so that sugar would have dissolved really fast. Now that we're making cold drinks, unless you stir it for a really long time, the sugar doesn't completely dissolve, and then you get little crunchies from the sugar in your old fashioned. I personally don't care for that. I know there's a lot of people that are traditionalists, and if you don't make with the sugar cube, they get upset. I personally, it doesn't make sense to me. You're making a cold drink, use the syrup because it'll just dissolve instantly. It'll make it better tasting mouthfeel, just a better drink.
Well, we're modern here on the Dude Network, so we're going to do something a little twist here. I don't want chewy, grainy, old fashioned, so let's not do that. Yeah.
I guarantee for a fact someone will comment on this show next Friday, and they will be upset we didn't use like a sugar cube. I can almost guarantee it.
And I'll tell them Canada's not that far up north.
So, without further ado, we're going to get our simple syrup again.
Ka-chow.
And you need very little, unless you like a really sweet old fashioned. Do half to 3/4 ounce. I'm only going to do 1/4 ounce. And if your measure doesn't, it's a very tiny measurement. Just do the tiniest dab of simple syrup if your measurement doesn't go to 1/4 ounce. I'm going to do a very tiny bit.
Show them the glass.
Yeah, and for anyone watching out there, I mean, 1/4 ounce, that's what it looks like. It's the tiniest amount of syrup floating in there. All right, then, so you got your sugar. Next most important ingredient in old fashioned is your bitters. Just regular Angostura cocktail bitters work great. They have a certain flavor that is just classic for old fashions.
All right, so what's next here? All right, sorry, I had to.
So get your bitters, your Angostura bitters.
Cracking it just for you, Sam. How about that?
Oh, first time opening it. I like it.
Yeah, saved them just for you, man. I told you I had to get some.
So that bitter bottle you have, since you just opened it, when you're gonna go to shake it in, barely anything's gonna come out. So I would suggest you maybe do about 6 shakes. If anyone out there's trying to do this with us and their bitter bottle's maybe half empty, when you shake it, like a lot more comes out. So I would only do about 3 shakes. We're nerds over here, so I have these special bitter bottles that shoot the same amount out every time, no matter how much is in it. So I'm going to do about 6 shakes because I know that's what works with that bottle. But 3 to 6 shakes. You don't want too much, and you don't want too little bitters. So for your new bottle, I would do like 6 dashes.
Okay. There was a good bit sitting on top of where I shook it, so.
Yeah, you you get a little color in that syrup, you're good to go. You don't want to be too dark, then it's probably too much.
It's nice and light here, so I like that.
So this, kind of like a nice, almost looks like there's already whiskey in it, but there's not yet.
Yeah, that's good.
Nice. Well, Stacy said it's gospel. That's all I know.
So the twist we're doing on this today, we're going to add a little bit of cherry juice. I like tart cherry juice because we already have the syrup in here. I don't need to sweeten it up anymore. It would be pretty easy to find at your local grocery store. And the way we're going to measure this is if you have a spoon, just do 1 spoonful. So I'm going to do 1 bar spoon worth of cherry juice, just to give it a little bit of that edge in the drink. Put that right in the glass. And then after that's the good stuff. So I'm going to do 2 ounces of bourbon. You can do, probably it's really good with 3 ounces as well. So.
I think I put too much bourbon in mine, full disclosure.
Oh, come on. There's no such thing.
True. Good comeback. I appreciate and respect you even more for that comment, Dibby.
So next thing we gotta chill this down. So grab some ice. If you have a rocks glass like this, just fill it up 3/4 of the way because you want a little room because we're gonna stir it to cool it down more. And if it's all the way full, you're just gonna have ice popping over the glass. So that's what mine's looking like, just probably a little bit full, but about 3/4 of the way full will get you there. And then if you have a bar spoon, great. The regular spoon works as well. Just going to stir it for about 15, 20 seconds. Just really kind of chill it out.
Back on the martini. Oh, and she brought back an empty martini glass, fellas. Empty martini.
Ooh, that was fast. Was she walking straight?
Oh, yeah. I told you I should have done more.
So we'll chill that down. And then it wouldn't be an old fashioned without an orange twist. Lemon twist works too. I prefer the orange. A lot of people garnish it with the Luxardo cherry as well. That's totally optional, but to me, like a citrus zest is not optional. It's going to totally change the drink. It'll make it that much better. I like to use a potato peeler. If you have a knife, you can cut the zest off too. Just be careful. These potato peelers work great.
That's getting cut. That's an excerpt.
That's the first.
Man,
we just bought this thing.
You know what? Hey, I'll teach you. Knife. Need a good knife.
That's amazing.
Forge. If you need one, go hit him up. He can make you a real sharp one, right, Doobie?
Oh yeah.
that was good timing.
That's the content we're here for, Sam.
All right, let's try it. Same peeler. Let's try this again. All right. So, by the way, if you are using this peeler at all, like Stacy about 6 months ago wasn't paying attention. She's talking to a customer as she's peeling, and she sliced about a quarter of her pinky tip off. So that was fun.
Sam pulled out his prison shank of a potato peeler here.
All right, so that's what it's supposed to be. This peeler was not faulty. You get ideally you get a nice big peel like this, and then so you have your skin side here, and then you're gonna have you don't want too much peef, this white stuff here. That'll just make it bitter. But what we want to do with this twist, with the skin side out, if we kind of fold it over the drink, you will get a little bit of zest popping out of the skin. And then you can kind of feel it. All this oil came out. Smells amazing. If you rub that kind of on the rim of the glass, that'll give you a really nice smell.
Oh wow, that's a next level tip for sure.
You'll get a little bit of that orange flavor with the old fashioned. Use a simple little garnish. Just stick that peel in there. I like to keep it simple with the old fashions. It's a classic.
Now comes time to it.
All right, cheers.
Sam, Stacy, thank you. This has been amazing. Thank you. Oh,
wow. That's money right there.
Pinky out.
I want to make this clear to people watching. It's not going to just give you a mouthful of cherry and bourbon. The cherry, it'll just be so barely hanging out in the background. If you add more cherry juice, it's going to taste great too if you like that. I just want a little bit of an accent to that old fashioned.
Meet the brains.
I mean, the bourbon is definitely the main character.
Right. You don't want to distract from the main guy, the bourbon.
You know, you get all the good notes of the bourbon, and then you get like a little bit of the citrus and cherry just to kind of finish it off at the end.
Right. Exactly. That's the goal. Yeah, man, I love it.
She approves.
She approves? All right.
The perfect amount just to make that bourbon like the smoothest possible.
Yeah.
You know?
That's a good way of wording that, actually, Doobie. I think it's like, because now, would they say the old fashions came like Prohibition days when they had to like cut down stuff because they weren't getting good quality bourbon? Or how long ago did old fashions start? And you said before ice, but I don't know what exactly that means.
I mean, so there's a misconception like in Wild West days that people were just drinking bourbon straight. Cocktails were actually around at that time. You would have, if you were in like a very populated city in the Wild West, you would have been able to get like an old fashioned at a bar. Like bitters were around at that time. Sugar was pretty readily available. So the old fashioned goes back, I mean, I would probably over 200 years, somewhere around that. I don't know the exact time, but it's one of the oldest cocktails, if not the oldest cocktail. The definition of a cocktail used to be just spirit with water and sugar. And so out of that came the old fashioned. It's a very simple, obviously cocktail now entails a lot of different things, but old fashioned goes way back. And so it would have been almost like, you probably would have had a hot toddy maybe before even the old fashioned, where it would have been easier to heat something up than cool it down.
We're trying to get out in winter though. Next, when we go into winter, we're going to do a good hot toddy. We'll do a good hot toddy.
If you look up the history of ice, like to have ice in a drink readily available is wasn't that long ago where that like ice wasn't just readily available. It's a fairly new thing when you look at history. And that's, you know, that's why I like to use the syrup. People still go old school with the raw sugar, but to me, it doesn't work in a cold drink.
Well, then when they first started using ice, it wasn't necessarily for drinks as it was to keep their fridge and freezer cold. You know?
Right, exactly. You would have gotten those big blocks of ice, put it in the top, and let it all, everything cool down.
That's awesome.
Yeah, ice probably would have been more popular in, like, you know, if you're up in Canada, Alaska, where there's always kind of snow melt around, it would have been more there. But you're, you know, if you're in Southern California, you wouldn't have had ice just readily available like 200 years ago.
Yeah. California dreaming did not mean dream of ice in your water.
No, definitely not.
So what big gigs you got coming up? How can people find you? How can people book you? Plug away.
Yeah. The best thing people can do is go to our Instagram page. It's
awesome.
Oh, sorry, we're gonna say something.
Which is awesome.
Yes, thank you. Stacy does our social media. She's on there about 6 hours a day. I don't really know how she does it, but it's at twist_and_bitters. If you just type in twist and bitters, we should pop right up. And give our page a like. That's one of our main focuses right now, one of our main goals is to get up to 10,000 followers. It's our next milestone. So like our page, that would be much appreciated. And all of our contact info is there as well. So if you are living in Southern California and you have any sort of party coming up, you know, reach out to us. We can bartend for you. Or, you know, we do these in person cocktail classes. We've done whiskey tastings with people, anything alcohol related. We're there for you.
Awesome.
I like that part.
Not a bad gig.
That's why we've hit it off. I'm like, oh, you like alcohol? Me too. How about that? What a coincidence. You want to be friends? Sure.
This is probably the best old fashioned I've ever made, for sure.
Oh man,
I have always drank a killer old fashioned. It is now not intimidating at all. Not at all. I just needed to walk through it once. So is that kind of the purpose of it? That you're finding out is when people make it with you, start to finish, they get less intimidated by it, and then they kind of are able to carry on your skill. So when they bring you in, you're teaching them a forever trait, not just a one night.
Totally. Actually, I've found I'm taking up all the space. I've found when we do the cocktail classes, it's the most fun I have with our job. It's the most rewarding thing to me because just like some people, they couldn't cook you an egg if their life depended on it. Some people look at
it's the tools. They're very scary.
Some people look at shakers and tins and measurers and they're like, they have no idea what to do with it. So after the classes, people like it demystifies the whole thing. I'm like, it's not as complicated. You know, it can be complicated. There's tiki drinks with like 15 ingredients, but it doesn't have to be complicated.
And you just don't start there. You work your way up to that.
You know what's funny is people love Long Island iced teas, but are intimidated by old fashioned, and there's like 5 more ingredients in a Long Island iced tea than there is an old fashioned.
Yeah, but I feel like most people who order a Long Island iced tea, you could probably make that drink however you want, and as long as it tastes strong, they don't care.
No.
You know, they're not out there because the Long Island iced tea tastes a certain way. They're out there because they're chasing a buzz. You know,
Exactly.
That's got a lot of liquor in it, a lot of different kinds.
Yeah.
Especially something like an old fashioned. I've probably had more bad old fashions at bars than any other drink. I mean, if you don't have the cherry juice at home, just that bourbon, a little bit of sugar and some bitters. That's all you need. You don't need anything else to make good old fashioned. Just a little orange twist in there, like you're good to go. Like people like to, I think because we're in this age of we always have to come up with new things and post it on Instagram. People come up with these crazy riffs, but at the end of the day, if we just go back to basics, it's not hard to make a good drink.
You also can just instead of using simple syrup, if you get a good thing of cherries, Luxardo, Starnino, any of those brands. There's another one up on the west coast, I forget its name.
Luxardo is the most popular.
Luxardo is the most popular, but if you use the cherry juice in this as a sweetener, it also makes it good.
Okay. Have you ever used maraschino cherries for old fashioned?
You can, those bright red ones. I don't prefer them, but yeah, I mean, if that's what you have available, go for it. Doesn't hurt. But yeah, if you use the syrup from whatever cherries you have, just a bar spoon or two of that instead of the sugar, like use that as your sugar, that also works. Makes fantastic old fashioned.
Look at this. And keep going. Like, let's just get on.
Tell us all your secrets.
I mean, yeah, man, hey, when you wear fancy aprons with leather like that, man, like I'm all ears. Like that is you. Yeah, when you invest that much in your drink apron, like I'm listening.
When you have a custom apron with like a 17-inch bar spoon and you show up at events, people really think you know what you're doing. It's amazing.
It's actually all about the tongs.
The tongs, yes.
Well, we live by saying it's called fake it till you make it, but I think you're just making it. Yeah, so.
Well, hey, I really appreciate you guys inviting us on your show.
This was a lot of fun.
This will definitely be happening again. I can tell you that.
Awesome. Hey, we can't wait to have you back.
First time ever. We didn't scare somebody off. That's cool.
Right.
We're getting the hang of it. Well, I tell you what, Sam, Stacy, you are officially a part of the Dude and Dudette Network. Don't worry, I didn't forget about you, Stacy. But you are honorary members. You are OGs, and we are so thankful that you got to share us some really cool stuff that we can use to help get the wives in a good mood for the rest of the night. So we need your services for that. But no, seriously,
there's no better way to kick the weekend off than that, right?
Yeah, the weekend kickoff party. Let's go. So, dudes and dudettes, thank you so much to the Twist and Bitters team, the Dream Team, #Power Couple, Sam and Stacy. We will see you guys next time, and we'll be right back after this break with the rest of the show.